sparring club is coming. November 14th, London. Mark your diary. See you there, you f***ing tart.
Boxing King Media. We're out here at Johnny Nelson's beautiful home, which he's had repainted especially for these interviews with Boxing King Media. You've gone for maroon, Johnny. Why maroon?
You know what? If I stand next to the wall, you probably wouldn't even see me. You know what I mean? That's how we roll, baby. But I can't take credit for this touch. But yeah, I've had some smart input.
Yeah, they've definitely done a good job. In fact, I just realised why you've gone for maroon. It's to camouflage with your WBO belt, isn't it?
You know what? Actually, the way it sits, I'm like, it's all right. It's just a bit brighter. The winter's coming, so it's the winter's here and it's a festive season, so it'll look nice, just nice and warm and fresh.
Good stuff. How's your podcast getting along? That boxing show, we'll give it a shout out, and obviously if anybody is watching this, definitely hit Johnny up on That Boxing Show. Search it, give it a follow, subscribe, etc. Johnny's doing his own thing. Weekend podcasts every week, innit?
Yeah, we do it every week. You know what? It's all right because I can say what I want and drop it how I want, and if people like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. The numbers are getting pretty good, and we're getting like between 1 and 3 ratings out of 10 each week. You know, predicted ratings from YouTube. So we're doing something right. So at the weekend, I do my little bit where over what's happened, and then obviously in the week we do our recordings of shows. You know, it's like getting people into the studio. We try and keep it as much studio based as possible, just to keep some regularity. But it's all right. It's all right. It's nice, and realistically, you just think it's actually fun. It is fun. I think we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and once we get to 10,000 subscribers, we can have a live studio audience. So people come in and chill. You know, if they want to come down, and they'll probably be part of the show. You know, we'd be very interactive. It'd be a bit like that soccer AM. You know, we could hear the crowd, and the crowd would be there, probably heckling or just listening to the show. But it's just to make it feel a bit more relaxed, a bit more at ease. It's like every man's show.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I'm definitely enjoying watching it. So yeah, give people a push to follow that channel. I'm just going to change the light 2 seconds. The other thing I want to speak to you about is the Kell Brook. Kell Brook's coming back. I spoke to Junior Witter the other week, and he wasn't too impressed about Kell coming back. But I spoke to Dom, and obviously I was in Dubai. You know, I went out to help and promote the event for the local promoters. And one of the things that I think Dom felt was the fact that this opponent is the right opponent. Somebody who's had 11 fights, lost 3, won 8. It's the perfect fight to come in and see where your body's at, how your timing is in the ring. So what do you think of that? He'll be 40 years old when he steps in the ring.
Oh, okay, so let's get rid of the misconception. This isn't a comeback. He's coming to fight this fight. A comeback is he's coming for a career in boxing. He's not coming back for a career in boxing, as far as I know, anyway. So this is a fight that he's thinking, you know what, I'm going to do that. I can do that. I'm going to dip my toe in that water. Does Kell realistically think he can have a career in boxing again? No. So this is just a one-off. And in this one-off, he's decided to go in there with someone that's got less experience than him. His brain will obviously know far much more than his opponent does. The problem is, especially when you get to a certain age, especially if you've not been in the gym ticking over, that fire in the belly, it dims. And Kell's not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is today, or we expect him to be, should have a little bit too much wisdom and movement and knowledge for this young man. So this is just something that can be done as long as he trains right, shows a commitment and dedication. And it's hard to do when you've been out the ring for a while and you've kind of got other things to do in your life, because it's no longer your priority. When you're an active fighter, it's your priority over everything. Relationship, works, everything. I don't think this will be a priority for Kell, and that's dangerous. But I think he could probably get away with it for this fight.
What did you make of the big revelation that he made last week when I interviewed him? And something I've known about, but first time he was kind of public about it. The fact that obviously he had addictions, with drugs and alcohol, and it was actually Ebony Bridges that helped him get off that stuff, which a lot of people don't know.
Amazing credit to Ebony, because a lot of people don't know. Some of us did, and it was a case of, it took Ebony to find a way to switch that switch off inside of him, then you've got to give him nothing but respect regardless. And I'm quite sure that both of them have been under scrutiny and criticism, but people don't know what happens behind closed doors. And so she must be a really influential force in his life. They've got a son together now. Kell, when he speaks, he just sounds at peace. So whatever Ebony's doing, you've got to give this woman respect, because she's helped. And Kell says it in his own words. She saved my life. And we all need that. We all need that, someone that we can lean on, that we feel as though we can open ourselves up to. And Ebony's obviously that person for Kell.
And talking of saving people's lives, one of your, obviously your biggest mentor in your life, Brendan Ingle, got a fascinating story that Dom told me a few months ago, and I got Dave Allen to confirm it the other day. I don't know if you watched the video where Dave said, he was in a low point in his life. He gambled all his money away. He went and locked himself away, and he got a knock on the door, and it's Brendan Ingle. Brendan walks into his one-bedroom flat, sits on on the edge of his mattress, and holds his hand, and he goes, he just held my hand for 10 minutes and told me I was going to be all right. Yeah. What a man. Society's missing these kind of people, aren't they?
The thing is, Brendan, as I said, when Brendan's funeral in Sheffield at the cathedral happened, and it was packed out in the streets, packed out in the church, the amount of people that were saying, Brendan did this for me, Brendan did that for me, I'm thinking, how did Brendan have time to help all these people? And I mean, really help families? Because I thought, he's got 5 kids, he's got a wife, he's got us nutters in the gym and our family problems. When did he have time? And so I'll be thinking, are you making it up? But far too many people were saying, Brendan's done this to me. And I thought, you know what? He's a good man. And that's why I say, and then sometimes I choke up, sometimes you get me on a good day. And I choke up because I think, I want to give this man so much respect, because he's an unsung hero. There are no Brendans left in this world. And that's a great story. And it's a true story, and when you help somebody, and you're really helping somebody, not for the glory, the tap on the back, and what a nice guy. You're doing it because that's what you want to do. You want to help people. That was Brendan, through and through. And he did so many things for so many people. I was one of them. And I tell the story about when I'd not boxed for 13 months, I wasn't earning any money. He gave me £250 a week, and he said the deal was, if you tell anybody, I want it back. And then when I boxed, I went to give him his money back. He went, no. That's not the deal. So which trainer, which manager, which person in boxing would ever do something like that for one of his fighters? And so Brendan, when he did it, I'm like, that was a selfless act. And I thought, you have always got my support no matter what. I know this guy. I know this guy's a good man. I know there's things he's done that, you'd have no idea about until someone tells you the story. So when I saw the story with Dave, I thought, that's Brendan. People don't know him. And as I say, there'll never be another Brendan.
Yeah. Did you like that AI picture that we got done? It was like so realistic. Dave said it kind of freaked him out because it was that kind of realistic. I'll just show it to you. I don't know if you saw it or not. It kind of depicted the scene.
You know what? It's I look at it and AI's scary, isn't it? Yeah. AI's scary because you think it could just change the course of history. Because AI, you mock something up and then you think that's how it happened and that's what it is. And because the story is verified, it probably puts some colour to the story. Yeah. Something in that.
There's an amazing saying, if even when you pass away, and the more good people speak about you after you pass away, you get the rewards for them in the afterlife. So, I'm pretty sure I've never ever heard anyone say anything negative about Brendan Ingle. So I can only imagine he'll be having a whale of a time wherever he is at the moment.
Yeah, listen, I can imagine Brendan sat up there holding court with all the people that he spoke to us about, Marcus Aurelius and people like that. And now I'm saying these things, and people thinking, what's he on about? But at the end of the day, Brendan was a very well-read man. He liked to play, as he said it, the thick paddy. And people thought he had no idea. Brendan, he used to say, if he didn't know a word, he'd bug Elman and say, Elman, what's this mean? So he'd be reading a book or reading a paper, and there'd be a big word there. He'd turn to Elman, she would like roll her eyes, and she'd explain to what the word meant. This guy was so smart, so well-read, so unorthodox, and I keep saying there will never be another Brendan. And you're right. The more you talk about him, the more people think. The more people will actually think. You know what? I'd like to have met this guy. And there are many stories that you still won't hear, but people will watch and think, he did this for me. The little something.
One quick question: how on earth has he not made this Hall of Fame thing that happens in New York every year? How's his name not been popped up in that? I can't understand it.
Never say never. Because I think, especially after the film Giant comes out, I think it'll just put Brendan's name in the mouth of so many people, and they'll see stuff like this. I saw Teddy Atlas reposted something about a guy that trained in the gym, and when asked about Teddy Atlas, he broke down, he got upset, and and he said, because Teddy Atlas and Customado were really good people, and I thought, you sound like you have the same relationship with Teddy and Cuss like we had with Brendan. And there are not many people around in the world. Let me turn my food off. Stay there.
I'll pause. Johnny's got his aubergine in the oven. I'll keep talking, Johnny, whilst you're getting the aubergine out. Are you going to eat it now, or what do you want to do? Okay. All right. So what have you got in your aubergine?
Stuffed aubergine. I've got to eat well. I've got to eat healthy. I've got to stay in shape. I've got high ups to do, man. So I've got timing. Time is everything.
Yeah, there's a health cheat. There's what's the word I was looking for? A cheat code meal for your late meal at night. Aubergine stuffed in the oven. That's what Johnny's having. So talking of trainers, the big talking point this week's been it kind of got released or mentioned a few days ago by a reporter on X, Chris McKenna, and a journalist, and then it's been mentioned on a few different stations. Anthony Joshua has allegedly been training with Alexander Usyk's team. It's unclear what the relationship is with Ben Davison. Obviously, there's no comment from either party, but that's what's been put out there. What did you kind of make of that story coming out?
Okay, first of all, if it's true, I'm going to comment on if it's true, because I'm quite sure AJ will put some meat on the bones, or Ben will put some meat on the bones eventually. Now it's out. If it's true, I like the fact that AJ is still trying to improve himself in some aspect. I like that, and he knows there's something that's just not right, because he's thinking, I want to do what you do, and I get that. I do think how Usyk trains and how he fights. I don't think AJ would be capable of putting that into practice at this stage. He won't like what I'm saying, or he won't care what I'm saying. The reason why I don't think he'll be able to put it in practice is because he had a certain mindset, and he's of a certain age, but he's been doing something for years. And so for him to do it, might work for the first round or two, then you're going to go back to type. And so it's going to be a confident thing. And I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get that unorthodox style. He's trying to adapt that unorthodox style that Usyk beat everybody with. And and if it's not ingrained in you earlier on, the mistakes you do as a fighter are always going to come out on top. So it shows respect. It shows admiration for what Usyk's achieved. But I think for AJ, I think it's a little bit too late in the day for that. And there's stuff what he's learning with Usyk. I can't say what he's learning, but because I'm not there. But I do know what Usyk's done in Winkerbank. This is nothing new. What you do with the left hand, you've got to be able to do with the right hand. You've got to box southpaw as well as orthodox. You've got to box off the back foot. You've got to box instinctively. It's got to be something that's second nature. This doesn't come after 2 or 3 months. This takes years. It takes years of footwork. It takes years of boxing southpaw and orthodox. It takes years of sparring all shapes and sizes. So I know it's not going to work for him because it's too late. It takes years. It's not, no matter how smart you are, no matter how talented you are, no matter how brilliant you are, this takes years. And I know that because I'm testament to that. And I've seen so many brilliant fighters come through with the Winkerbank gym, doing that, fighting that, training that unorthodox way, that I know you're not going to learn that overnight. You're going to try it for a round or two, but you're going to be taxing yourself more trying it and thinking, I've got to remember this, I've got to remember that. It's a lifestyle, it's a mindset, it's got to be second nature. Brendan had us doing the footwork, southpaw and orthodox, 1.5 hours, 2 hours before we even hit a bag in the gym. AJ ain't going to learn all this inside 2 or 3 months. He's not going to learn it. I love the fact that he wants to, and he's put himself out there, but it's going to be more taxing mentally for him trying it than actually doing it because it'd be far too much to remember. I'll give you an example. I suppose you'd be boxing, and it's like letting a right hand go, a backhand go, off a front lead instinctively. You're moving left, bam, dropping it in, bam. So you're boxing using your left and right hand as though they're both the lead hands. This takes a relaxed mentality. It takes a relaxed style, a relaxed calm in chaos. Because if you're fighting somebody and they're putting it on you, you've got to be able to relax, slip, boom, drop a shot in, slip, turn somebody, pull them in. It's something that you don't learn overnight. I know this. Usyk himself says he used to watch Naz, and him and Lomachenko used to watch Naz and say, we want to do that. He's been doing it for years. Do you honestly think AJ's the talent he's got, do you think he's going to be able to learn something that takes years overnight? No, I don't. I just don't. Good on him. He's paying homage to somebody that he thinks, you know what, I've got to rate him. And he can can afford to do that. I do believe that AJ, it's not business for AJ. And why am I saying that? Is because, and I've said it before, as a fighter, your appetite needs to be a consistent appetite to fight. And how long's it been since he boxed?
I think over 14 months, maybe.
Over 14 months. At the age you're at, you can't be boxing once a year and tell me you still got a fire in your belly. I use Nigel Benn and Steve Collinson as an example. Nigel Benn in his heyday was a bad man. Who would have ever thought Nigel Benn had quit partway through a fight? It's not in his DNA. So when he did, everybody was shocked, thinking, what's going on? That his fire, his burning fire had gone. It was business to him. So then, just in my opinion, I'm thinking if AJ's in that situation, he's going to be thinking, is it worth it? Because if it happens to the likes of Nigel Benn, it's happened to people before Nigel Benn, and it happened to people after AJ. If your fire's not burning as though it's your priority amongst everything and anything, then you'll get found out in the ring because it's the loneliest place to be in the world.
What do you think? Obviously, again, this is just like rumour mongering. Nothing's been put out by Ben Davison, or there's no clarity with regards to that situation. If it is true, maybe what if he's just having a few months there, then he goes back to Ben? But where do you think it kind of leaves that relationship? Should it continue?
Well, either way, if it's with Ben's blessing or not, which I don't think Ben will have a say in it, it's kind of a diss to Ben. But you can't blame Ben for the job he's got. Because any trainer in the world would say, I want to train you, AJ, because you get life-changing money for doing the job. So Ben, he was the fortunate one to say, you're going to learn your job off my back. And so Ben really doesn't have a say in it. Is it a diss to Ben? Ben, no, not really. Ben's learned something working with AJ. And Ben's probably learnt more from one working with AJ than AJ has working with Ben. And it'll look better on Ben's resume working with AJ than it will on AJ's resume working with Ben. So for AJ, he's in a situation where he's still drifting, thinking, I need to find the answer. And the answer is within. So you can keep searching. The answer is within. It's within you. I recognise I recognise the self-doubt. I recognise it. I recognise the bluff and the bullshit. And I recognise this. AJ is an amazingly talented fighter when everything comes together. When it's not, he can look an amazingly novice. And I know that because I was like that. Obviously, it wasn't as big and as what I've got, obvious, so yeah. But I get that mentality. I get where he's at. When the penny drops, then I think, but it'd be too late in the day.
What about a counter argument to that? If I'm Anthony Joshua, I'm ultimately paying people for a service, and if it might use a daft analogy here. It's like, say you're using a barber, and you're not happy after using for 6 months. He's kind of, something's missing. You find a new barber. You're like, all right, I want to use this guy for a bit. Is it fair to say if he's paying the bills, he's in the last parts of his career, if he wants to experience training in the same team where one of the all-time greats has been training, is there anything wrong with that? Because people will criticise him if it does come out to be true.
The thing is, AJ's been the master of his own career since he left Rob McCracken. Every choice he's made is his, not his advisors, not anybody. It's his call, it's his shout. So therefore, you can't blame anybody because the buck stops with him. Being an old fellow, I think you surround yourself with boxing folk that talk boxing, get boxing, understand the history inside out. And you do that because it takes time, experiences to get wisdom. So you need people with wisdom in your ear of the game, not bullshitters. And there's a lot of bullshitters around, and they talk a great game. And so I wonder, whose idea was it for him to go and work with Usyk's team? Because he'll learn something, but it won't be ingrained in him. It won't be ingrained in him where it will make a massive difference to him, because it takes years to be able to naturally, instinctively.
Here's a hypothetical one for you. If you was around in the era of Muhammad Ali and you got an opportunity, you could financially afford it, where you're in the last year of your career and you had the chance to train with Muhammad Ali and his training team. Yeah. I'm not saying Usyk's Muhammad Ali, but he's near as, and you could do it. Would you do it?
If I still had an ambition to be the best, I would. Whoever got me there in the first place, I'd be there. I'd be there. And Ali's an amazing fighter, but how many other fighters like Ali were like Ali? None. I think his relationship with Angelo Dundee was perfect. It's like AJ's relationship with Eddie is perfect. Naz's relationship with Brendan is perfect. Things collide at the right time. So it doesn't matter if the toys look shinier over there. You know, you've got to do what actually works for you, create your own brilliance, create your own legacy. And that's what he's done. But now he's going into a den of something different. Think I'll try this. It doesn't. I don't. Just my opinion. I don't believe that fire's still there. I don't think, and the reason being is because he's just been out of the ring too long. So I also heard that might be coming back in an 8-rounder. So can you imagine? And there are very few fighters that believe they're the best in the world, and I think he's still struggling with no longer being the top of the tree. And it makes you kind of fall out of love with it because you really believed you were the best. So now all of a sudden he's doing an 8-rounder publicly. So you know, he did that back in the day. But once you get to a certain height and then you're back on the undercard like somebody else, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard thing to accept.
Should he be doing 8-rounders?
I wouldn't. Because once I got to 12 rounds, anything less, you hate it because the pace is different. Trust me, the pace is. You're going to get into there to an 8-rounder. Someone's going to go out there. It's like having a sprinter against a marathon runner. The sprinter will shoot off straight away, but the marathon runner just attacks him out. But and the marathon runner's got a certain pace, and it's hard for you to work at a certain pace. I don't believe AJ can work at a sprinter's pace. So therefore, if you've got someone that's tough, that can stick it out, and it's bringing a high tempo to you, you've got a good chance of losing to somebody you shouldn't really lose to over the championship rounds.
Okay. Last thing on that, to my knowledge, I don't think anyone in Usyk's training team speaks English. And I've spoken to his coach Yuri numerous times through a translator. He speaks zero English. Does that matter in boxing training, or does boxing training have its own language?
It does, because you need to understand the terminology. You need to understand the mindset. So again, this rumour with him training with Usyk's camp, in what capacity? How? And so there needs to be some more on it, because we're speculating about something that we don't really know the full story. So once we know the full story, then we can kind of fully understand it. On the outside, what you're telling me, it don't make sense. On the outside, what you're telling me, because I'm from a gym that style was adopted from, I know you can't do this overnight. So that's just my opinion from the outside in.
You're going to be there on Saturday night, and I'm just going to shout out our sponsors for this chat, the Green Room Experience. You're going to be there doing a Q&A with the fans and people who have bought tickets for the VIP experience through the Green Room. And if you haven't seen the Green Room Experience, I think I described it as a business class ticket last time on a flight. That's the best way I can describe it, because
Going on Concorde, if
you're
you're
going,
Concorde.
yeah, you're basically, you're getting the VIP treatment, you're getting the drinks, the food, obviously celebrity guests, people like Johnny Nelson, I think George Groves, and a few other celebrity boxers are going to be there at the event.
What you're doing is you're in a room with people that have done it, that have been there, being able to sit next to them and talk about boxing and get their insight on it. So I think the Green Room give you such an opportunity to be in the mix, have the conversation, ask the questions, and get the honest raw answer from people that have been there, that are closer to the game.
Yeah, I'm going to have the link up for them in the comments. And it's not just boxing, they do football, horse racing, cricket, you name it. So if you want to be treated like royalty and have a VIP experience at an event, only book through the Green Room. I know it's a kind of thing not everyone's going to be looking to do, but the people that enjoy that type of lifestyle and experience, I promise you, the Green Room is the place to be, because there's a lot of people out there selling these type of packages, but we've teamed up with the Green Room for a reason.
I've been working with the Green Room for many years, and it's a class act. They're no shysters or charlatans. It's a class act. Food's great, company's great, hospitality's great, and it's a class act. So I actually haven't been to many other work with many other hospitality agents, but this one, I've been with them for years, and that's for a reason, because they represent me and I represent them. So they're a good setup.
Yeah. Just on the note of your dog letting one rip, and that one absolutely that pongs. I'm hoping it's not you, because that absolutely stinks. but just tell us about this bike before I let you go. I'll let you sign out with this bike, because I've been looking at this for ages. It looks amazing. Is it real?
It's real, yeah. So it's an electric bike. A company down in London actually gave it me. So every time I was in London, he said, "Look, just leave your bike here, and just razz about in London with this." I've had this about a good few years, and it's pretty cool. You've got to have a proper, it's like registration plate on the back, but my concentration span isn't great. So therefore, I thought I'm going to kill myself, especially in London. So I brought it back up here. I drove it around a little bit, did a little Chris Eubank going out, but I'm thinking, nah, so now it's an ornament in the house. And I can get away with it because it's a fella's pad. So why not? But it works. It's legit. It works.
It's beautiful. Johnny Nelson, thank you very much.
Sparring Club is coming. November 14th, London. Mark your diary. See you there, you f***ing tart.